you've met the governor's summer interns. And as we wrap up our internship here and get ready to head back to school, let's reflect on our summer with the BMV. How was your summer with branch ops?
It was good. They're definitely very welcoming, and I really enjoyed, I think, coming from like this being my first professional in an office type of setting anyway, working with like a very small team. I thought it was really fun because in my past jobs it's always been lots of coworkers, lots of bosses, but here it was, even though it was a little bit complicated, I had just a few coworkers, but we were all just working day to day with like a lot of different lines of business and I think people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was good. Everybody was just kind of there to help us and guide us along the way, and it was a very welcoming environment from everybody.
Yeah, same for me. I noticed like this is one of the first internships I've had where they've just been super like educational about it. I feel like sometimes they just throw you in and like hand you projects, but I feel like at least like in my department and my summer they did a really good job of like teaching you the ins and outs, so you like feel like you have a deeper understanding before you're doing projects. Yeah.
My favorite project I did was the first project I worked on, which was looking into driver's education. What I'd worked on is looking at the different regions and seeing how many hours that they allot to online coursework time, and kind of seeing what they were doing and how low it was compared to ours, and if it was low, what were their crash rates in the state, and just seeing if we could possibly push that in the next legislative session to have the online classwork time reduced from 30 hours to, I think they were looking for 24 hours. And it made me just really happy and feel accomplished because they also used the research that we did in one of the meetings that they had, and they presented it to them. So that was nice knowing that.
Yeah. What about you, Emerson?
I really liked that project too, just because I like knowing they were talking about our research in the board meetings, but it just had like really tangible impacts. So that was super fun.
How was it hard to get that research? Was it easier than
it honestly was. There's not been a lot of like real scientific research done about how classroom hours like affect drivers that actually end up on the road, which you wouldn't expect because every state has it. But yeah, it was kind of hard to find.
So you guys just did the research on Indiana?
We did it all across the country.
Oh, wow.
So that's what also made it hard as well. It's just the quantity of the amount of research we had to do. You had to search up a lot of different data points to find, and some states don't have it posted, and it was just a lot of work.
That does sound like a lot of work. Luke, what was your favorite project in the summer?
I had to think about this question for a little bit, and I think ultimately I had to go a different type of route because I think working in branch operations, one of the things I enjoyed the most was how different the day-to-day was and how many different things were going on at the same time. So I think it was really hard for me to narrow it down to one because one of my favorite things was the fact that there's always so many different projects going on. And then so I kind of narrowed it down to a sector because we work with like financials, but also like property management and even like titles and stuff. So I think what I like to do the most is just some type of financial report, like using Excel or something. But I really, even with that, there's like so many different types of things that can be done, and different types of reports I do. So, and normally they are quicker, so it's not like a report that I'm spending weeks on. It's something quick that I can like look into for the day maybe. But then I get to see like we're working on the quarterly bonus program right now. So just things like that, getting to see like the things that are implemented like at the branches, like at all levels, but just kind of from the central office side.
I'm trying to think. There's so many projects that I loved, but probably one of my favorite was in the communications and marketing department. We do a lot of event planning. So we're currently setting up for the state fair, which is so fun. We were just there yesterday, and like I haven't been to the state fair in years. Like I haven't been since I was little. So to be there, like setting up a booth was a totally different experience. We set up for the Indy 11 game, and which was also super fun. So doing different like event planning like that has been really cool. Also planning our all-in days. So we did the barbecue cook-off this month, July, and then last month, June, we all did field day.
I thought field day was really fun. I thought it turned out to be a real success. More people came than I even thought would. So.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely loved doing field day and just seeing the amount of people that showed up. Even if they didn't play games, they just had a day to come outside and just be away from the office for a little bit while at work. So I thought that was nice, something we could give to them, and just seeing how happy everybody was.
And it was cool to see like a different side of the employees that we don't get to see just because we haven't been here very long. But to see everyone like some people are really getting into it. They're like competitive, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like
With the cornhole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, cornhole was super competitive. I'm trying to think of what else was.
The scavenger hunt.
Oh,
Yes,
the scavenger
yes,
hunt. We're like,
definitely.
were we the first people to finish it? What was our time?
And we'll have to come back next year, guys, for field day.
Yes.
With branch operations, we have to deal a lot with the standard operating procedures. And on my first day, my first few days, one of the things they told me that I thought was just very interesting, like just funny, I guess, is the fact that it happens so much that a customer will hit the BMV branch like with their car from like a driver test or something that they have now, a standing operating procedure for what to do when that happens.
Very interesting. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
And I think it's just little things like that.
I was probably surprised by just how much, like how many areas of life the BMV affects. Because I know when Amari and I talked to the legal department, they were telling us about how some of what they do deals with like refugees trying to get IDs and stuff. And that's super interesting, and you don't necessarily think like, oh, BMV deals with refugees, but we do.
For me, definitely just the effectiveness of everything. Everything gets done so fast. It may not seem super fast, but there's so many orders and people and customers they have to deal with on a daily basis. And just the amount of time that they have to get that information, put it in, and then spit it back out, I think has just been really eye-opening for me to see, because a 4-day turnover time is impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive. That has definitely made me realize that that's quite a fast amount of time to get something done.
Yeah, you guys definitely hit on the ones that I was thinking of. Luke and I went to, I don't remember the branch,
ND
West, and we did like a credentials class, so we got to watch them do transactions. We got to go to the print farm, and that was just super cool to me, is like being behind the computer and like seeing how that happens and seeing the IDs printed, and it's just so like, yeah, it's so cool. And it's like, now I feel like we'll never go to the BMV and think of it the same. Probably one of my biggest takeaways with this internship was just like leadership and service on a whole nother level. I've worked for like other companies before, but never to this scale, where it's like, although the BMV is like a part of the government, it is like a business. Like we have like 100-something branches, and we have to see how they all operate and see like and maximize, you know, transactions. And it really is cool just to work and serve for that many people. And I mean, everyone you encounter has used our service, which is really cool. And so I think it's definitely giving me an idea of what I want in a future career, and just having the ability to serve so many people and just kind of having that widespread outreach is something that I'm definitely looking for in a future job. Yeah.
I took this internship because I've worked for private law firms, but never for the government. And so I wanted a chance to see what it was like. And that was very useful because I got a lot of like the why people want to work for the government here, like
Yeah.
the purpose they feel, and not only the purpose they feel, but you know, what's good about working for the government, what you get out of being here. And I feel like I have a much better understanding of that now, and it just helps me make decisions of my future career.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway from working with the BMV is just the amount of people and the amount of stories that there are that people have to tell. Everybody's different. Everybody has something different to say, but they all have imparted knowledge on me that I'll probably take with me for the rest of my life, just about the different things that they do and how they operate within their lives, and also just how they feel about working for the government and the service that they provide. Even if the work can be difficult sometimes, it has made me want to continue working for government or any type of public work.
The biggest takeaway I had, at least from like a advice type of sense, was that communication was probably the biggest key factor in like a quality work environment, just like quality results, especially with operations. Like, we communicate with all the different lines of business in central office, but we're also communicating with all the different branches and keeping like the regional managers updated, making sure that they can keep like their tracking updated, and even with management. So just making sure, and with our coworkers. And I think part of that is just like learning, coming to like a professional sense, is that like I've only ever had to deal with maybe my coworkers in like a non-professional job or my academic classmates for like a project. But working here, you're dealing with like a wide array of age ranges that I've never been accustomed to, and just a wide array of how people communicate and how people want to be communicated with.
I think I just like remember waking up and being so confused because I was like getting all these emails and I was like, what is happening?
I don't think I was on the floor that day, so I didn't really get.
I think you were on vacation that week.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I was gone.
Did it affect your
but-
flight at all or travel?
No, thankfully not.
That's
We were very, very grateful. But
That's good.
yeah, I think we got back before the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing remote work that day, so I woke up and I was like, oh, I can't do anything. So it's like glad I'm at home. I didn't go to the office for no
Right.
reason.
I know, I wasn't in office, so I wonder what it was like in here. Were you in?
I was actually in the office, yeah. I thought it was interesting because, especially like with the BNB, it's like, or even any type of government service, I think it's not something you go out searching for. It's kind of just something you expect. So it's like everything's been set up, especially coming in as interns. Like everything that we've been doing has probably already been done and already been reviewed, and and people are going to look at it after us. Like there's a lot of steps down the line, and there's a lot of people looking at it each way. So I thought it was very interesting to see how like an agency would react whenever it's not like that, and whenever things don't go according to plan, and how they like respond to that.
So in the next few weeks, I'm headed into my sophomore year at Purdue, where I'm double majoring in communications and selling and sales management.
I'll go back to Oxford, which is where Miami University is. I'm a double major in political science and Russian studies with a minor in creative writing.
I'll be headed back to University of Indianapolis, where I'm double majoring in political science and international relations, and I have honors concentration.
My last day is this Friday, and I'll be heading back to Indiana University, Bloomington, majoring in informatics, like data analysis, with a minor in business analysis, and I'm looking at adding a minor in finance.